Okay. Hello and thanks for tuning in. I'm Jace of Freecaster Fables. This is a channel for Dungeons and Dragons Adventurers League, supporting dungeon masters with tutorials and reviews and some advice on running different sessions and everything to do with Dungeons and Dragons for Adventurers League. Today I'm going to go through real fast pace with what you need or what I personally take to an Adventurers League session. This is meant to be a rapid fire. What do? I have a session coming up in like 3 hours and I've just been asked to do it. What is it that I need to bring? And I've got a whole bunch of things and I can only bring so much because I have to go to a store or somewhere else and I have to pack like a go bag with all the stuff I need. So first of all, I need to say that I'm not being paid to promote at all, but the Essentials box. Go to the store, buy the Essentials box because it gives you, at the very least, a rule book. My phone is doing things. It gives you a rule book with the absolute basics of all the stuff that you need, including creating a character, playing the game in terms of explaining ability checks, saving throws, combat. It gives you a list of the equipment that you find in the normal player's handbook and all that good stuff. You also get the Dragon of Icespire Peak Adventure, which is legal for Adventurers League play, so you can run that if you wanted to. You get a set of dice. You get specifically a set of red dice with an extra couple in there, but I would suggest get 2 sets because having 2 sets is better. To be honest, and you get an actually really nifty DM screen that is cardboard instead of the usual thicker cardboard. I mean, this is like a flat cardboard piece. But most importantly, I believe this is the most updated reference for the different things on the DM screen. I personally actually just keep this on hand as a quick reference, regardless of what screen I have at the time. I have just found it's the most useful screen I have. And the Essentials box is like, well, in Australia, it's like $30 Australian. And we all know how the exchange rate is going at the moment. But in the States, I think it can get down to like $15, which is nuts for what's in the box. I definitely suggest you get a grid map, whether that is one that you make yourself. I made this one myself, or you buy one of the either hard cardboard flip mats that has dungeons on the other side and folds out really wide, or you can get the Pathfinder, what's it called? Bigger map. Yes, it's called Bigger Basic, and it's green on one side, and you can see there is a different color on the other side. This one I don't like as much. It is bigger than the other one, but it's floppy and flexible, and I dislike it. It has a bit of a bump to it when it goes down on the table, so I like the really flat cardboard one. So much so that I actually have 2 of these ones. Next, you get a little Essentials kit box with a whole bunch of cool stuff in it, but the things that are the most useful are the condition cards that you get. There's 1 of each of the conditions. So we'll go, is that gonna, you can probably see it, that's fine. 1 of each of the conditions, including exhausted, and also comes with about 3 combat step-by-step cards that explain the same thing that's in the, I think, Dungeon Master's Guide or Player's Handbook. Determine surprise, establish positions, roll initiative, take turns, go to the next round, repeat. That's something I use quite a lot. It's got cool little pictures on them as well. I use those quite a lot because I can just throw them at my player when they are grappled or restrained or whatever it may be. The next I use actually quite often, but your mileage may vary, is the initiative cards. So they number 1 through to 9. And I've actually taken some of those combat cards that I just showed you, the combat step by step, and I've since written 10, 11, 12 on the other ones, because sometimes I have that many things going on the table. But I get pretty intense sometimes at my tables. You don't necessarily need to do that, and 9 should really be enough. In addition to those things, you also get a few magic items and such. Of note specifically, there are some potions in this little box. So there's about 3 or 4 potion of healings. I've got 3. No, there's got to be like 5 or 6. There's lots. There is a potion of greater healing, potion of superior healing, sending stone, goggles of night, dread helm. What else? Dust of disappearance, immovable rod, and that's just the ones that I have in my most used box, my most used little packet that says in use. So those ones get pulled out often enough, and then further I have another little containery thing, a piece of plastic here that I have not used very much, unused, or yeah, and that's got more things in it. There's quite a lot in there. There are cardstock, so they have some thickness to them, and my little box here is slowly coming apart at the edges, but that's fine. It's because I use it so much. I'll make another one. I'll laser cut something or something. More things that you need. You need a pencil. I would actually suggest 2 or 3 pencils of different types. I like using mechanical pencils because the lead is thinner and you get sharper lines, but you can always just get normal pencils. Don't drop them. Try to keep them in a place where they don't get dropped, because then you would just break the lead on the inside. I have several different colors of whiteboard marker because they work really well on my fancy custom whiteboards that I like to use, and I like to layer over the top of extra things. So I will write, sometimes I will write my characters on here. So we've got Joe and we've got Anna, and Joe has done a stealth check of 23 because he's a rogue. So there he is. Can't even see them. Well, you can see that there is some writing there. Anyways, so I got that, and then I can layer something else over the top if I need to, such as like I can write the characters on one, and then I can write hit points or stealth checks and stuff all on a separate piece, and then I don't have to rub it off. Or you can write them on a piece of paper, and then you can write all the stuff you need to keep on hand but then get rid of really quickly on your whiteboards, whatever you like. These are simply just pieces of plastic that I got out of packaging for like socks. So, and I masking taped around the edges, you can see that. So literally nothing fancy at all. Whiteboard markers, really handy, really handy. Erasers, because you're gonna make mistakes, so get erasers. You need your books, 100% need books. I suggest, at the very least, if you're running a campaign game, get your campaign book. Try and find the DM screen for that campaign, because it has some cool, useful, let's say, pictures. So these are NPCs for this adventure, and it has some quick reference charts for different parts of the adventure as well. So they're really easy. It means you don't have to flip through the book or put little tags, sticky tags in your book if you don't like doing that specifically. And it's always nice to have the correct DM screen for your adventure. Given that many of the adventures run in the Forgotten Realms, 100% recommend the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. It has a lot of cool stuff that tells you about things in Faerun and the Sword Coast. It talks about the specifics of the races and how everything works specifically in here. Saying specifically a lot, let's try and avoid that. It explains, I'll just go through it really quick, the Sword Coast in the north, Toril and its lands, time in the realms, a brief history, magic in the realms, religion in the realms, and the gods of Faerun. It goes into some of the factions. It explains some extra things for classes and subclasses. There's extra backgrounds. Specifically, one that is very important is the faction agent background. That's the one that you have to replace. It's a little bit confusing, but it's okay. You have to replace a part of your background with the thing out of this one, of the faction agent, when you join a faction. And then there's a whole bunch of, actually there's a lot of sidebars. Sorry about the quality, but there's a lot of sidebars you can see there about various things, such as what coin they use in the realm, and it gives pictures of those coins. So they're things like dribs and nib, shard, sambar, dragon, and sun used in Waterdeep. They're the ones that would be most commonly used in a lot of different places because Waterdeep is huge. But then it explains some of the other places as well, such as Am, Cormyr, Sembia, Silvery Moon, and Zentil Keep, among others. It explains the calendar. There is the history that talks about the first flowering, the present age. It explains the weave, which is magic, and how that looks. So if you are struggling with what magic looks like, there is an explanation in this book. This is usually only about $30 or something like that. I don't remember how much I know, 40. It's 40 retail in the US. Yep. So there's that. You don't necessarily need the monster manual, because in the back of your campaign books is all of the stat blocks you need for that campaign. So you can see in here, there's all of my stat blocks for the creatures in this campaign. And if you can't find them in these books, you can find them in the freely available rules, or the SRD, which is System Reference Document. Freely available online. You don't need to sign up for anything. It's a PDF, so find a laser printer, print it out for cheap, go to your local office printing store, because I have some, I have one called Officeworks, but you probably don't know what that one is. But that's fine. Things like, we can go into minis, but that will take potentially a while. Consider getting some kind of tokens. I myself have a laser engraver, and so I have I've cut out, it's not really cutting, you just burn it enough so that it falls out. These tiny little circles you can see here. Here is one. They are, as you can see, I've coloured there. I've coloured in just with marker. I've got other colours. You can't even see them. I've got other colours. So I've got like reds and blues and greens and stuff like that. There's a red one. Yep. They fit on the base of minis to represent different things, and I've got a whole finger of them. That's a measurement. I've also got little circles, the circles that specifically are cut out from these tiny little donuts, and I've marked little skull and crossbones on them to mark out when something is dead. Otherwise, you leave your marker on there, your miniature, be it a piece of plastic or a shaped molded miniature or a little, I don't know, Monopoly figure, whatever you're using. Sometimes it can get confusing which ones are alive and which ones are dead for your players. You know, of course, because of course you know, you're the Dungeon Master, you know everything, but your players can get a little bit confused. last thing, get yourself a folder. I've got a folder specifically for Adventurers League. My first page doesn't count. That's where I just put my frequently used things. But download several different things to help yourself out. Do a little bit of research when you've got some time. Definitely 100% go into the description of this video below and print out the Dungeon Master's Guide to Adventurers League. It looks like this is the front page. This is the next page. I print two on one, and also the Player's Guide to Adventurers League as well. I have a map of different places. That's useful to have, and you should definitely, if you are running it, print out the adventure itself if you're not running it out of the book. That's all we've got time for and stuff. 15 minutes was too long, but that's fine. I hope this video is helpful. I'm doing regular uploads at least once a week, so please like and subscribe to this channel. Click the little alarm bell thingo, whatever it is, somewhere. It's up here, it's down there, whatever, somewhere. You'll find it. I'm sure you will. You're smart like that. Follow me on Facebook and other social media things that you can see just over here. Itch.io. Boop, 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 boop. Where are we looking? There. Itch.io is the digital web store that I upload the adventures and supplements and rules and homebrew that is written by the Freecaster Fables Fellowship. So go and check those out. There's some freely available ones, and there's some really good quality full color maps, custom stat blocks, campaign adventures, long ones, short ones, one shots, several sessions. There's all sorts of cool things on there that's slowly being added to. You can see updates and things on Facebook, and a lot of the time it gets shared across to the other ones. So we've got Tumblr, we've got Twitter, and we've got Instagram as well. So I share as much as I can. That's all.